welcome to the deep dive. There are some topics that move so fast, what was groundbreaking just weeks ago. Well, it can feel like ancient history.
Oh, absolutely.
And right at the top of that list is AI. The sheer velocity of change in this world is truly breathtaking, and that's exactly what we're plunging into today.
Yeah, definitely. It's a landscape where the ceiling is just kind of constantly disappearing. So our mission today is to really unpack AI's profound and rapid impact.
Right.
On global industries, major corporations, specifically looking at that transformation from, say, 2022 up to 2025. We'll be zeroing in on critical shifts in employment, economic value, supply chain.
International cooperation, too, right? And the broader economic picture.
Exactly. All those big pieces.
Think of this as your essential shortcut, really, to getting informed on this incredibly fast-moving tech revolution. And to do that, we've pulled insights from a really rich stack of sources.
Yeah, we have.
Comprehensive reports like AI's Global Impact, 2022-2025 Industry Transformation, which even includes analyses from AI models themselves like Grok 3 and DeepSeek.
Which is fascinating in itself.
Isn't it? And we're also drawing from Taiwan's AI Readiness, a corporate analysis that's a Google Cloud and AIF report, plus a whole host of recent industry discussions, just trying to give you that multifaceted, actionable view.
And what's truly striking, I think, is how quickly the impossible becomes not just possible, but, well, almost commonplace.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, just last year, OpenAI Sora for text-to-video. That was astonishing. Felt like sci-fi.
Totally.
But now you've got even more accessible models like W2.1. They allow for high-quality text-to-image, image-to-video, text-to-video, and with surprisingly low computational requirement.
How low are we talking?
I mean, running effectively on something like an 8 GB VRAM GPU.
Yeah.
So the barrier for creators, for businesses to just start experimenting, it's plummeting.
What's really caught my attention lately, and frankly, it kind of surprised me, is the pace of AI agents. The Minus model, announced just back on March 4th. People are already calling it a significant step towards AGI, artificial general intelligence. Can you maybe walk us through what models like this actually mean?
Absolutely. So imagine a model that can plan an entire physics course from scratch.
Wow.
Or simulate complex physical interactions.
Yeah.
Even generate a full HTML presentation, with interactive bits, all from just a simple prompt.
And it runs on
Relatively modest hardware. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
This isn't just a powerful LLM spitting out text. It's more like an autonomous AI agent designed to chain together multiple steps, complex reasoning to actually complete tasks. It's challenging even the LLMs we thought were cutting edge, like a month ago.
Okay, so that begs the question. If AI agents are evolving that fast, what about the large language models themselves, the LLMs? Are we seeing a big shift there too?
Certainly are. I mean, for so long, we've thought of LLMs as predicting one token, basically one word at a time.
Right, sequential.
Exactly. But a fascinating new trend is emerging, LLMs using diffusion models. Now, this is a technique that was previously mostly used for image generation.
Huh. How does that work for text?
Well, this denoising approach lets them generate entire texts really quickly by refining a sort of jumbled input. It drastically reduces computation and time needed. It's a development that's genuinely shocking the industry and changing how we even think about generating text.
So if we connect this back to the practical side for businesses, what does this relentless progress mean for how companies actually generate value? I've heard about these AI industry value levels. Can you break those down for us?
Yeah, it's a pretty useful way to visualize the progression. We can sort of outline AI application in industries across 4 levels. L1, that's your professionally generated content, PGC, basically traditional human-generated stuff.
Okay.
Then you move to L2, user-generated content, UGC, where maybe some AI tools are assisting humans. Then L3 is more human-guided AI generation. Humans are actively reviewing, modifying what the AI puts out.
Makes sense. But the big leap is L4.
That's the truly revolutionary one, yeah. L4, AI-generated content, or AIGC.
And what does L4 look like in practice? Is it really hands-off?
Pretty much, yeah. L4 is fully autonomous AI generation, review, modification, and publication, all without human intervention.
Wow. Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine an AI agent autonomously processing breaking news, rewriting it for different audiences, maybe generating short videos tailored for social media.
Like TikTok or Instagram.
Exactly. IG, TikTok, Xiaoshu, and then automatically publishing to those platforms.
Yeah.
All without a human touching it. That's the progression we're not just seeing, but actively moving towards. It's profoundly reshaping workflows.
Speaking of reshaping, let's talk about the broader global impact then, from 2022 to 2025. Starting with maybe the most personal aspect, employment. I've seen some staggering figures.
Hmm.
What's the latest data suggesting about job creation versus, job displacement?
It's definitely a mixed bag, and the numbers are significant. AI is projected to affect about 40% of global employment overall.
30%.
Yeah, with higher exposure around 60% in advanced economies compared to maybe 40% in emerging markets and 26% in low-income countries. So there's a disparity there already.
And the predictions, some sound pretty dire.
Well, Bank of America predicted potentially 2 billion jobs could be replaced by 2030. That's a huge number. But on the other hand, the World Economic Forum forecasts 130 million new jobs.
Okay, so new roles emerging too.
Exactly. Primarily in areas like data science, AI ethics, human-AI collaboration. So while some roles might vanish, entirely new ones are definitely being created.
That's the tension, isn't it? Losing some, creating others. Can you give us some concrete examples of where this is playing out right now?
Absolutely. McKinsey's 2023 report predicted that by 2025, maybe 30% of manufacturing jobs, 25% of customer service positions could be automated.
Right.
And you see it happening. Amazon, for instance, plans to deploy over 100,000 warehouse robots by 2025. Their goal is to reduce sorting labor by about 50%. That's a direct impact on the physical labor side.
It makes you wonder, if you're a warehouse employee, are you studying prompt engineering on your lunch break now? What about the shifting skill sets needed?
That's a great observation, and it directly relates to the rapidly shifting skills we're seeing. There's definitely increased demand for data scientists, machine learning experts, AI scientists.
Makes sense.
Conversely, demand for traditional software engineers has actually decreased a bit from about 39% down to 28%. And yes, the prompt engineer role, absolutely real. About 7% of companies are already recruiting for it.
So people are worried, but maybe not mass replacement just yet.
Well, despite the fears, IDC surveys show that 48% of employees expect only partial automation of their tasks. Only 3% expect whole replacement.
Okay, that's reassuring for some.
It is, but a significant challenge remains in training. The ILO reported in 2024 that only 35% of the global workforce has systematic AI skills training,
Only 35%. Wow.
and the figure drops to less than 10% in developing countries. Yet by 2025, 70% of knowledge workers are expected to rely on AI tools. So that gap, it's profound.
Yeah, that gap really highlights the urgency for businesses, for individuals to adapt. But speaking of the potential, all this innovation must be translating into significant economic value, right?
Oh, absolutely. The numbers are, frankly, astounding.
Right, I'm honest.
Okay, so PwC estimates AI could contribute a massive $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030.
15.7 trillion.
Trillion, yeah. And more immediately, by 2025, AI is expected to add about $6.5 trillion to global GDP.
And how does that compare to before?
That's a staggering 103% increase from $3.2 trillion back in 2022.
Wow, more than double in just 3 years.
Exactly. It indicates a fundamental reallocation of economic power. Value creation is shifting from traditional labor and capital towards AI-driven efficiency and innovation. It's forcing every sector to really rethink its core business model.
So it's not just a general tide lifting all boats, it's driving specific sector surges. Where are we seeing the most pronounced growth?
Precisely. In manufacturing, for example, AI-driven predictive maintenance. It can cut equipment downtime by 40%. Boston Consulting says that boosts annual output value by 10–15%.
Any company examples?
Well, Tesla's gigafactories are a prime example. They expect to increase production capacity by 50% by 2025, largely through AI optimization.
Okay, what about other sectors? Healthcare.
Huge impact there, too. AI-assisted diagnosis, like Google DeepMind's MedPal M2, is projected to cover 30% of medical institutions. The market itself is forecast to grow from about $20 billion in 2022 to $67 billion in 2025.
67 billion. And finance, always quick to adopt tech.
Definitely. AI risk control systems are already reducing credit losses by about 25%. And Goldman Sachs predicts AI will save the global banking sector something like $45 billion in operating costs by 2025. So it's not just efficiency, it's fundamentally reshaping these industries.
Okay, let's unpack another area. Supply chains.
Right.
AI is apparently optimizing those relationships in a big way, too. How's it making global supply chains, smarter and more resilient?
It's mainly through predictive analytics, for inventory, for route optimization. It leads to much better efficiency and, crucially, foresight.
Can you give an example?
Sure. AbbVie, the brewing giant, they're using AI to speed up customs checks, which significantly reduces bottlenecks. Gate 39 Media has seen big improvements in warehouse management and demand forecasting using AI.
And the cost savings.
Accenture's research from 2023 indicates AI demand forecasting can cut inventory costs by 35 to 50%. Walmart, for instance, is aiming to reduce $6 billion in excess inventory by 2025 using these kinds of tools.
That's massive. What about resilience, making them less fragile?
Absolutely. Siemens used AI to simulate 5,000 different supply chain disruption scenarios after the Russia-Ukraine conflict. That increased their emergency response speed by 70%. So it's about building a more robust, more responsive global flow of goods.
That's an incredible level of foresight, really. And given AI's global reach, it makes sense why international cooperation in AI governance seems to be strengthening. But there's also intense competition playing out, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real duality. Yeah. You have things like the IMF's AI Readiness Index evaluating 125 countries, highlighting disparities. Countries like the UAE have even set up dedicated AI ministries.
And collaborative efforts.
Yeah, initiatives like the 2024 Partnership for Global Inclusivity on AI, the PGI-AI. They're fostering collaboration between governments and tech companies for sustainable development. That's one side.
And the other side is the competition.
Exactly. Parallel to that, you see these very competitive national strategies. The U.S. has its $120 billion National AI Initiative Act, focusing on chips and models.
Right. And the EU.
The EU is taking a strong regulatory stance with its AI Act. It includes potentially huge fines, up to 7% of global revenue for violations. Very strict.
And China?
China, through companies like Huawei, is pushing its Ascend chip production, aiming for about 30% import replacement by 2025. So it's this fascinating push-pull between shared challenges and, national advantage.
And we're seeing it play out at the corporate level too, right? Companies from different nations partnering up.
Exactly right. You see these cross-national corporate partnerships. NVIDIA teaming up with Reliance in India for an AI supercomputer. Or Toyota collaborating with IBM on quantum computing for battery R&D. These partnerships really underscore both the global nature of AI development and the huge capital and expertise needed.
It's clear AI is a massive economic driver, but it also comes with potential downsides. What are some of the economic challenges, maybe the inequalities that this rapid transformation is, well, making worse?
That's a really critical question. Because while AI promises immense value, it absolutely might exacerbate income inequality.
How so?
Well, the IMF predicts that by 2025, AI will boost labor productivity in developed economies by about 2.5%, but only 0.4% for sub-Saharan Africa. That widens the technology gap significantly.
And within countries, too, not just between them.
Yes, definitely. The World Bank projects that the top 10% of high-skilled workers globally could capture something like 75% of AI's added value. This leads to pretty significant wage disparities.
Can you give an example of that disparity?
Sure. Think Silicon Valley AI engineers potentially averaging $350,000 a year by 2025, while data labelers, often in developing countries, might earn less than $5 a day. It's a stark illustration of how the benefits are currently distributed.
And then there's the concern about who holds the power, right? The risk of monopolies in this tech.
That's a very real concern, yes. U.S. and Chinese companies currently hold about 85% of global AI patents. And just a few giants, OpenAI, Google, Baidu, they control maybe 70% of the large model market.
So the growth is concentrated.
It seems that way. When you look at the overall picture from 2022 to 2025, the global AI market is forecast to grow a staggering 223%, from $132 billion up to $427 billion.
Huge growth.
Massive. Manufacturing AI investment is up 133%, high-skilled AI jobs up 189%, enterprise AI adoption up 123%. The growth is undeniable.
But with all that growth and transformation, there are also ethical, environmental considerations that you can't ignore. What are we seeing there?
Yeah, several things. On the ethical side, you have ongoing regulatory conflicts, like the EU AI Act versus maybe looser US or China standards. That could fragment global markets, create real compliance headaches for companies.
And environmental impact.
That's becoming a bigger conversation. The energy consumption of AI compute power is predicted to hit maybe 4% of global electricity by 2025. That's a substantial environmental footprint that definitely warrants attention.
And what about smaller businesses? Are they keeping up?
That's another critical economic concern. The marginalization of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. Around 60% of them report lacking the funds for AI adoption. so they risk being left behind as the larger players pull further ahead. These are all really complex issues evolving just as fast as the tech itself.
So, after that broad global picture, let's bring it back down to a more local lens. Let's talk about Taiwan's AI readiness, based on that Google Cloud and AIF report you mentioned. Taiwan's average AI readiness index score is 54.08, which gives us a baseline. The report breaks this down into 5 crucial power dimensions. What does that 54.08 really tell us?
Well, it indicates, I'd say, a solid foundation, but also pretty significant areas for improvement. The first dimension they looked at is data power, and that actually scored the highest for Taiwan.
Okay, so strong on data.
Strong on selection, yes. But Taiwanese companies seem to genuinely struggle with effective management, integration, and application of that data. Only about 17.8% have integrated platforms for diverse data types.
So it reinforces that old saying.
Exactly. No data, no AI.
Ugh.
Without well-managed, clean data, even the most sophisticated AI models are, well, effectively useless.
Makes perfect sense. Then there's innovation power. The report says nearly 90% of companies recognize AI's transformative power, which sounds great,
It does, but
but actual application is low. A significant chunk, 44.5%, are still just in the initial exploration stage, and only 36.6% are prioritizing generative AI tools in the next 3 years. That feels like missed opportunities, doesn't it?
it really does.
I mean, while businesses kind of wait and see, you've got tons of YouTubers already monetizing AI, creating entire content streams with it.
It absolutely highlights a gap between awareness and execution. There's this thought experiment, in 5 years, maybe a CEO feels like they can mobilize 100 IQ 200 AI colleagues. That really drives home the idea that waiting means falling behind, especially when smaller, more agile players are already adopting.
Which brings us to technology power. So AI is integrated into some workflows, okay, but employee AI knowledge and training, weak. 69.3% report low AI knowledge. Why is that such a sticking point for companies?
Well, because without understanding AI's capabilities and its limitations, you can't truly leverage it for efficiency. It's not about everyone needing to become an AI scientist,
Right.
but having a foundational understanding across the workforce is crucial. Our collective understanding really needs to evolve as fast as the technology itself.
This leads us neatly to governance power, which actually scored the lowest in the Taiwan report. Many companies, 52.5%, specifically lack mechanisms to ensure their AI models comply with international norms. This feels like a huge regulatory gray area right now. Can you elaborate on the kinds of legal disputes or ethical minefields companies might be stumbling into?
Certainly, we're seeing a lot of legal disputes popping up around AI-generated content. For example, there was a Chinese court ruling that required detailed prompt interaction logs to establish copyright ownership, basically putting the burden on the user to prove their creative input.
Interesting. What else?
Then there's the whole challenge of AI liability. Who's responsible in a self-driving car accident if the AI was driving? AI plagiarism in academia is another massive issue. These legal debates are very much ongoing, and companies seem to be genuinely lagging in setting up the frameworks to navigate them. It's about more than just compliance. It's about responsible deployment.
Okay, finally, there's compute power. Most businesses apparently acknowledge that compute resources are important.
Right, they get that part.
But 51.5% are unclear about their GPU planning or just say they have no demand for it. What are the practical implications of not really understanding this nuts and bolts side?
This indicates a pretty significant practical gap. It's about understanding tokens, those fundamental units of AI processing that directly translate into computational cost.
Cost factor.
Exactly. And how to plan resources effectively for multimodal AI, which uses text, images, audio, maybe video. It's a critical, very tangible aspect of AI adoption, because without knowing your compute needs and costs, you simply can't effectively scale or even budget properly for AI initiatives.
So given these 5 dimensions, what would you say are the absolute key challenges for enterprises trying to navigate this AI transformation?
Well, first, I'd say the sheer speed means AI technology is largely unknown or unmastered. The rapid, almost daily advancements make it genuinely hard for companies to grasp what's possible and then commit resources.
What else?
Second, application relevance. Companies really struggle to identify and integrate AI applications that truly meet their specific business needs. Often, they find the general AI tools are kind of irrelevant to their core operations.
So finding the right fit is hard.
Very.
Third, there's a critical AI talent shortage. Just a lack of skilled AI professionals and a huge need to upskill existing workforces. Prompt engineering, like we mentioned, is becoming a key skill just for designing effective AI workflows.
And the fourth?
Data readiness. This is a big one. Many companies face messy, inconsistent internal data. It requires significant effort, data cleaning, before AI can be effectively trained and applied. It's truly that garbage in, garbage out scenario. You absolutely need clean data for useful AI.
So to tackle these challenges, the report outlines a kind of roadmap, right? A 5-stage AI transformation journey for enterprises. What's stage 1? Where do businesses even start?
The first stage is AI kickoff. This means defining clear AI strategies and visions. And crucially, this isn't just a tech initiative pushed up from IT.
Needs top-down support.
Absolutely. It requires strong, high-level leadership and, importantly, a willingness to potentially redefine core business directions. Think about how Google's ad model has shifted, or the decline of platforms like Skype, or even the large tech layoffs we've seen since 2022. A lot of that reflects AI-driven restructuring. Leadership has to be actively involved from day one.
Okay, so get the strategy and leadership right first. Then what?
Stage 2 is assess data readiness. As we just discussed, this is absolutely crucial. Ensure you have high-quality data for training. Interestingly, AI itself might even start playing a role in helping with this data cleaning process down the line.
Using AI to clean data for AI.
Potentially, yeah. Following that, stage 3 involves evaluating hardware specs and cost. This means optimizing your compute resources. Do you deploy locally? Do you use cloud services, maybe considering some of these newer low-cost models like DeepSeek? And really understanding the cost implications of those tokens for different data types. It's about building the right affordable infrastructure.
And then, presumably, we get to the actual AI models.
Yes. Stage 4 is model and data fine-tuning. This is where companies take existing models and tailor them to their specific enterprise needs. It involves fine-tuning on their own data, building custom knowledge bases relevant to their operations.
Making it specific to them.
Exactly. And finally, stage 5 is operation, improvement, and extension. This is critical. It's not a one-and-done project. It means continuously maintaining, updating, and expanding AI systems. There's a constant race against technological obsolescence, and it requires ongoing organizational transformation to keep pace.
We have certainly covered a lot today. We've seen how AI isn't just, tweaking industries. It's completely redefining the landscape of work, value creation, global cooperation.
It really is. The speed is, well, it's dizzying, isn't it? And the implications are just vast.
We've gone from breakthroughs being astonishing, almost unbelievable.
So them being almost instantly accessible, yeah. It shows that AI's ceiling just continues to disappear, and the world is actively reshaping itself around these incredible new capabilities.
So as you, our listener, look at all this, maybe take a second to think. What does your personal AI readiness index look like? How will you ensure you're not just observing this massive transformation, but actively stacking your own capabilities to thrive, to shape your place within it?
Because the future really isn't waiting.
Yeah.
It's being built right now, piece by piece, model by model. And you genuinely have the power to be a part of building it.